folks are at the back. Die, 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 not here in the pews. Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Here we go. Yeah, diddy, die, diddy, die, die, die. 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 Die, 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 one more time. Yeah, diddy die, diddy die, die, die. 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 This next prayer is page 186. In the brackets, your book is backwards from what you're used to.
Shabbat Shalom and welcome. I am Rabbi Javier Carapan, and I'm joined this morning by Leslie Zucker and our technical team. A big thank you to our BOW committee for bringing us beyond our walls, as well to our digital docents who are managing the streaming. Like to welcome Pastor Lyon and his church. They're visiting today. Those of you who are not here, we have visitors from Raymond, Nebraska, and thanks for joining us. That's a little bit of a drive, but I know you've been in town for a few days, so I hope you're enjoying your stay here. I'm sure the weather is not that much different there than here, right? But it's anyways. Wonderful. You know, we have our dogs come from Beatrice, Nebraska. I don't know if that's close to you. It is, yeah. So I've been there a couple of times to pick them up.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know a lot of places in Nebraska, but I know Beatrice. For those of you here in person, just a reminder that we're calling the pages in the square brackets. Your prayer books will have two, and I think Leslie already mentioned we go from kind of backwards. It looks backwards. So
I know, I shouldn't say backwards. For Hebrew, it's forwards, but
well, for most
we're in a
books,
United States,
yes, this
and
was a little
most
different.
books go
right.
this way, and we go this way.
And we normally don't skip a lot of pages, but if we do, I will announce it. If for whatever reason we just go into the next prayer, just flip the page and it will be on the next page. You can trust me on that one, I think, right?
Usually, yes.
It's great to have you all join us. We continue together on page 186 as we thank God for bringing us back to life on this beautiful sunny morning.
I totally was wrong about that first prayer. It wasn't on page 186. I have no idea. Oh, it was on 192. I'm a terrible, terrible leader.
Oh, you told them.
I said
well, they're ready to
186,
go
but yeah,
then. We're
now
all
you're
ready to go 186.
I apologize to everyone. You all over here are like, this is not what you're singing. What's happening?
You were not trying to confuse anybody.
Not
were
on
you?
purpose.
No.
It was a complete Let me teach everyone how to be human.
מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים, שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, בחמלה, רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך. מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים, שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, בחמלה. רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך. We join together in reading in the middle of page 194. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known before your throne of glory that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai, rofe chol basar umafli la'asot. 196. Elohai neshama shenatata bi teorani. Elohai neshama shenatata bi teorani. Elohai neshama shenatata bi Tehorahi, Tehorahi, Elohai neshama shenatata bi Tehorahi, Elohai neshama shenatata bi Tehorahi. Page 198, we will continue together with blessings for our daily miracles. And we do these normally alternating. And we invite everybody to take a deep breath before each one of the blessings. And I don't know if it's a challenge, but it's more something for us to concentrate what we're doing. If we can do each one of them in one breath. And then that's where we alternate, right? Because I need to breathe when in between things. But so you can join me, or you can join Leslie, or you can try
Or do
both.
them all.
Oh, yes.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lesech vivina lehavchin ben yom uven laila.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivri.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir hasuri.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufi.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rokah haaretz al hamayim.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam amechin mitzadei gaver.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malbish arumi.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam anoten la yahev koach.
Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech העולם, המעביר שינה מעיני ותנומה מאף אפיו.
אמן. ברוך אתה, אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בצלם אלוהים.
אמן. ברוך אתה, אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני בת חורים.
אמן. ברוך אתה, אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שעשני ישראל.
אמן. ברוך אתה, אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוזר ישראל בגבורה.
אמן. ברוך אתה, אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, עוטר ישראל בתפארה.
Amen.
Page 212, we continue with Pezukei de Zimbra.
Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam, Baruch hu.
Together. Baruch Oseh Bereshit, Baruch Omer ve'oseh.
Baruch gozer u'mekayem, Baruch merachem al haaretz.
Baruch merachem al habriot, Baruch meshalem sachar tov lireav.
Baruch ha'elad v'kayam lanetzach.
Baruch bodeh u'matzil, Baruch Shemo. To continue on page 214, as we joined in the middle of the page, selection from Psalm 92, Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat, a song for Shabbat. We begin with the words Tzadik Katamar. Tzadik Katamar Yifrach Kerez Balvanon Balvanon Yisge Shetulim Bebeit Adonai Bechatzot Eloheinu Yavichu Od Yenuvon Beseva Desheim Verana Nimiru Lehagid Ki Hashar Adonai Tzuri Lelo Avlata Bo. Section of our service, our preparatory prayers, getting started with our morning Shabbat prayers. They conclude on page 218, singing words from Psalm 150. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 bekodsho, hallelujah, ki ha'uzo, hallelujah, b'gevurotav, hallelujah, kerov lo.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, 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 beteka shofar.
Hallelujah.
לעולם ועד. We continue together, page 228 in the middle of the page in the Hebrew, beginning with the words Or Chadash. Or Chadash al Tzion Ta'ir, al Tzion Ta'ir. Or Chadash al Tzion Ta'ir, al Tzion Ta'ir. ונזכה כולנו נהרה לאורות, ונזכה כולנו נהרה לאורות. אור חדש על ציון תאיר, על ציון תאיר. אור חדש על ציון תאיר, על ציון תאיר. ונזכה כולנו נהרה לאורות, ונזכה כולנו נהרה לאורות. ברוך אתה אדוני יוצר המאורות. We continue together at the top of page 230. And immediately after we conclude with the closing blessing on 230, we'll move to page 232 for the Shema. Ahava rava, ahavtanu, ahavtanu Adonai, Eloheinu, chemla gedola, vitera, chamalta aleinu. Ahava אהבתנו אדוני אלוהינו, חמלה גדולה ויתרה, חמלת עלינו. בעבור אבותינו לאמותינו שבטחו בך, ותלמדם חוקי חיים. כן תכוננו ותלמדנו, כן תכוננו ותלמדנו. אהבה רבה אהבתנו, אהבתנו אדוני אלוהינו, חמלה גדולה ויתרה, חמלת עלינו. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed. May be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להוט על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
אמת. Page 239, we join together at the top of the page. Emet, there is no place where you are not. Even in the wilderness, there is your word. Emet, that pen strokes of lightning, white fire, black flame, stir the soul's passion, guide our sacred way. True and enduring is Torah. Your truth for us is certain and established now and forevermore. Like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and rejoice. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, אוסף פלא, אוסף פלא, שירה חדשה, שיר גאולים. לשמך על שפתיי, יחד כולם הודו, והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, אוסף פלא, אוסף פלא, אוסף פלא.
צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ובדחנו ממך יהודה וישראל.
גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. We continue page 242.
And this is one that just keeps going, so just keep turning pages with us.
Thank you. Adonai sefatai tiftachu,
Ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע, מהשיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחלחל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך? מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים.
We continue together in the middle of page 248. Let us sanctify your name on earth, as it is sanctified in the heavens above, as it is written by your prophet, Holy, holy, holy is Adonai Tzevaot. God's presence fills the whole earth. Source of our strength, sovereign one, how majestic is your presence in all the earth. Blessed is the presence of God, shining forth from where God dwells. God alone is our God and our Creator, our ruler and our helper, and in mercy God is revealed in the sight of all the living. I am Adonai, your God. Adonai shall reign forever, your God, O Zion, from generation to generation. Hallelujah. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד קודמך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי אל מלך גדול, כי אל מלך גדול, וקדוש אתה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד קודמך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש.
ברוך
אתה אדוני, האל, האל, הקדוש. As part of our standing prayer, our Amidah, it always offers a prayer for peace. Today, we take a moment to offer a prayer for peace in Ukraine. It's on your handouts. Please join me. One God, ancient and merciful, justice and peace are yours. Hold their retreat from the world and send them to the people of Ukraine for good. Do it for the sake of your name. Do it for the sake of your right hand. Do it for the sake of holiness. Do it for the sake of your children, so that all may live in the fullness of your gifts as one family on earth under your canopy of love. We continue our Amidah silently, beginning on page 249 through page 260.
Sim shalom tova uvracha, chin v'chesed v'rachamim, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, amecha. Sim shalom tova uvracha, chin v'chesed v'rachamim, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, amecha. Barachenu yotzenu, yotzenu, barachenu yotzenu, yotzenu, kulanu ke'echad, ke'echad, be'or panecha. Sim shalom tova uvracha, chin v'chesed v'rachamim, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, amecha. Sim shalom tova uvracha, chin v'chesed v'rachamim, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, amecha.
Service continues on page 367 with the service for the reading of the Torah. If you are able, please stand and join us as we together sing Al Shlosha Devarim is on the middle of page 367.
על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. על שלושה דברים,
על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. You may be seated. For those of you joining us on our virtual platforms, there's a link in the e-news for the Torah reading for this Shabbat morning, and you can also find that in the comments. And for us here in person, I will tell you in a few minutes where to find it in the red Chumash, in the red Torah that you have probably in front of you somewhere around there. This morning, we are reading from the third section of Parashat Tzav, and the words literally mean command. And it is our tradition that we read not the entire Torah from beginning till end, but we do go through all the Torah portions every 3 years. So we read separate sections. So we're now in the second cycle of a 3-year. So that keeps track also how long I've been here, right? Because it's my 6th year coming up, so we're finishing the second round of those. So, and we do this, by the way, for those of you watching or those of you who are here, because this way we get to read sections of the Torah that I don't get to decide whether I like it or not, so to speak. So, you know, as a preacher, you sometimes find something, you say, oh, I want to use this, but now, no, whatever it is, I use, and it's my challenge every Shabbat to do. And in this Shabbat, of course, when you're in the book of Leviticus, just every Saturday, every Shabbat really feels like a challenge, because as you may know, the book of Leviticus, which is part of this Torah portion, deals with many aspects of the sacrificial cult. This parasha contains, the elaborate rituals of the investiture of the priests, their consecration in ancient Israel. Specifically, chapter 8, we're going to be reading the beginning of that chapter, is filled with sacrificial offerings and many details about how to initiate the rituals of the priesthood. For most of us, the world described in these chapters is hard to relate to, because for 2,000 years or so, Judaism has not included sacrifices as part of our liturgy, and everything surrounding the priest once was part of our ancestors' experience, not only during the wilderness, the journey in the desert of Sinai, but later on at the temple that once stood in Jerusalem. It is no longer our experience, so for us to find it meaningful, at least I'm speaking personally for me, I need some serious interpretations. And this morning, we'll be reading only the beginning of chapter 8, but I want us to think about the whole chapter. In this Torah portion, in this parasha, we learn about the ritual by which the priest, Aaron and his sons, were to be consecrated or invested. An important part of the ritual was to put the blood of a sacrifice on Aaron's right ear, his right thumb, and the big toe of his right foot. Now, this is part of what one of our commentators called the yuck part of the Torah. I do want to acknowledge that scholar and teachings, Rabbi Jeff Salkin, who was our guest virtually last September, and he wrote a relatively new commentary to the Torah. And Rabbi Salkin suggests that the central role of this physical act of putting the blood of a sacrificed animal on three key body parts may hint at an important lesson derived from this ceremony. Rabbi Salkin teaches, quote, the three body parts, the ear, the thumb, and the toe, I can't show my toe here, but I can show my ear and my thumb, are essential to being a Jew and also a human being. So let's start with the ear. Those among us who struggle with bad hearing know how important the sense of hearing can be. You realize when you don't have it how important it is. But I think that by highlighting the ear, the Torah is looking at something beyond hearing. The words of the prophet Jeremiah come to mind. Hear this, O foolish people, devoid of intelligence, that have eyes but can't see, that have ears but can't hear. I think a better word will be have ears but can't listen. Hearing can be understood as the passive intake of sounds. People who are able to hear sometimes choose not to listen. On the other hand, listening is the act of intentionally working to comprehend the sounds that you hear. We need to be fully aware of something if we are to listen instead of merely hearing it. Marking the ear of the priest in this way highlights the importance of listening. One of the central statements of the Jewish faith, which we just chanted together a few minutes ago, is the prayer Shema Israel, that actually translates, Hear, O Israel. But many commentators have really suggested, and I believe it's true, that we mean more like listen carefully to what comes next. Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Adonai is our God, and there's only one God. The point is that one needs to be able to listen to people and really hear them and hear what they are actually saying to us. This does not mean, of course, that you have to agree with anything anyone says, but sometimes it is simply enough to pay attention to others. And we only have also our ears to be trained to listen. But there's a flip side to this, right? We also have to train our ears and being able to discriminate between the things that we hear. For example, we may hear what in Hebrew we call lashon hara, means the evil tongue. It's usually just gossip. And in that case, it is usually better not to listen. That is, to believe all the gossip that we hear. But rather, we should learn how to figure out the truth. The blood on the ear of the priest is a visible reminder of how important it is to use our sense of hearing wisely. So the next body part that gets a drop of blood is the thumb. The thumb speaks to our humanity. It is not an exaggeration to say that having a thumb is one of those things that makes us human and makes us able to function as human, to use tools and all those things. In the case of Aaron and his sons, it's pretty clear. The thumb was essential for them to hold the knife used to perform the animal sacrifices. Again, the yak part of the Torah, but they actually had to hold a knife to do it, right? How do you think they did it? They had to have something, right? It wasn't like die. No, they actually had to go and do it. Rabbi Salkin suggests that the thumb stands for our ability to act. So once we hear, we listen, and we understand what God demands from us, the next step is to take action. Although we value Torah study highly, our tradition is not based on comprehension alone. We must take our ideas and put them into practice. We often hear the words tikkun olam, and we think of social justice ideals. But the concept of tikkun olam, literally repairing of the world, contains the Hebrew word tikkun, which implies our own physical actions in making the world a better place. We show our understanding of God's demands to be decent human beings when we clothe the naked, when we feed the hungry, and when we show kindness to all creatures, when we indeed act towards those goals. And finally, there is the big toe. What about the big toe? Well, funny thing about the big toe is that we usually ignore it, unless someone steps on it or we hit it against an object, which happens to me apparently quite regularly at home. I think we take it for granted, but without our big toes, we would not be able to balance ourselves. Rabbi Salkin suggests that we need to pay more attention to how we walk, and I would agree. And he asks, quote, what's the first part of the body that moves when you move forward? Of course, the big toe. So it talks about movement and balance. So in this sense, the big toe speaks to me about the need to find the right balances, the balance between all the demands of our modern life and our inner self. All the stress, the anxiety, and the uncertainties, and all the things that are required from us makes us more aware of what we need to do and when. We do want to move forward, do better in life, but we must remember to keep our balance lest we fall. The ancient Jewish philosopher Philo of Alexandria, on which all these three ideas are based, once taught. And I left it last because I start telling you about Philo, I'm going to lose you. So here's Philo. So that was a whole explanation of what Philo wrote about 2,000 years ago. He wrote, the fully consecrated must be pure in words and actions and in life. For words are judged by hearing. The hand is the symbol of action, and the foot symbolizes the pilgrimage of life. And as we read about the ancient rituals, I suggest that we must ask ourselves how we best use our ears, our thumbs, and our toes Jewishly, but also we must be aware of how we use these three body parts to become better human beings. It seems that in order to be fully functional human beings, we need to pay attention to the lessons we hear and we learn from these three body parts, so that our brief pilgrimage on this earth, which we call life, can be more meaningful and leave the world just a little bit better than the way we found it. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. For those of you following us on the red big book, we are on page 795. Is that correct? Yes. Thank you. We will be reading the beginning of the book, of chapter 8 of the book of Leviticus. The blessings before the Torah are found on page 368, and I would like to invite Carol Duchak for the Aliyah. Ta'amod Shira Bat Chana. I haven't forgotten. We're trying to get back into the groove of things here. So we used to do this a lot, the two of us and other people. So now we're doing blessings. Again, page, what did I say? 368. Thank you.
You got good attendance today.
Yes. Okay, let me show you what we're reading. We're reading right here.
Baruch et Adonai HaBarak.
Baruch Adonai mevorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaBarak leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher b'karbanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, קח את האהרון ואת בניו, אותו ואת הבגדים, ואת שמן עמישך, ואת פרח התד, ואת שני האלים, ואת סל המצות, ואת כל העדה הקהל אל פתח אוהל מועד. ויעש משה כאשר ציווה אדוני אותו, ותקהל העדה אל פתח אוהל מועד. ויאמר משה אל העדה, זה הדבר אשר ציווה אדוני לעשות. ויקרא משה את אהרון ואת בניו, וירחץ אותם במים, וייתן עליו את הכותונת, ויחגור אותו באבנר, וילבש אותו את המעיל, וייתן עליו את האפוד, ויחגור אותו בחושך האפוד, ויפקד לו בו, וישם עליו את החושן, וייתן את החושן אל האורים ואת התומים. וישם את המצנפת אל ראשו, וישם על המצנפת אל מול פניו, את ציץ הזהב, נזר הקודש, כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'kayei olam notah b'tokenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Yashar koach. Shabbat shalom. It's great to have you. This moment, our service, we offer a prayer for those in need of healing. We're on page 371. You may have access to the Misha Berach list through the e-news that you received this Friday morning. You can also follow the link in the comments. If you like to offer names, please type them in the comments line. For those of us here in person, we have an opportunity to mention names out loud. So you would like to, we'll invite you to say their names. Thank you. As we think of those in need of healing, we also think of those who suffer from addiction and mental health struggles. May the one who blessed our ancestors bring blessings of strength, compassion, and healing to those of us who struggle with the oppression of addiction, emotional distress, and mental suffering. Surround us with loving kindness, grace, and companionship, and spread over us a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace. Return us to our holy dignity and restore us to wholeness of spirit, of body, and of mind. שברח אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. As we think of those in need of healing, we also turn our prayers to those who help in healing, health workers all over our city and the world in this pandemic. May those who care for the sick with their hands, their voices, and their hearts be blessed with courage and stamina. May those who pursue healing through medical skill and knowledge be blessed with insight, patience, and compassion. May all of us, the sick and the well together, find courage and hope. מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with the refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Service for the reading of the Torah concludes on page 374 with Etz Chaim. If you're able, please stand and join us. Service continues on page 586 with Aleinu L'Shabeach.
And after that, we jump to page 591. Everybody else just knows that. 586 to 591. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We continue on page 595 as we prepare for our moment of remembrance. יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו ואינם. There are stars up above, so far away, we only see their light, long, long after the Tsar itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though the time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways that we remember. As a congregation, we are observing the Shloshim period for my aunt, Irma Karapan de Massa, and we're observing the yortzites of the following members of our congregation that fall this past week, and we remember on this Shabbat. Ann Kader Aronson, Nathan Beckerman, Saul Bayer, Celia D. Karapan, Deborah Ruth Levitt Dutton, Ira Dye, William Engelberg, Donald Epstein, Luther J. Fowler, Truman Friend, Esther Goldman, Morris Gorski, Robert Gould, Senta Hirschbilsberger, Maurice H. Karch, Robert Clapper, Darlene M. Meltzer, Max Moses, Mamie Nathan, Gerald Peisner, Joseph Razevsky, Julian Siegel, Max Swade, Earl Unell, Sadie Waknov, Sam Weingarten, Joseph Wennick, Shirley White. Zichronam livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. We join page 598, Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. We stand if you are able. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמה דברה חירותי והמליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם וינשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דע אמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. You may be seated.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו Amen.
It is time for some announcements. I'd like to invite Aviva Simons, Director of Member Engagement for our congregation.
This is Aviva's song.
Good morning. Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you very much to Rabbi Katapan and Leslie Zucker for leading the service. Also to Dave Zucker for bringing us beyond our walls. And we know that this morning we reached to Mound City, Kansas, and even further. So thank you. Also thank you to Paula Fremmerman for helping me to welcome everyone. A few quick announcements. Next Friday is March 25th. That will be the next time we are together in this space for our Mizmor Shir Shabbat service. Extra musical. So join us in person and online. It will be a wonderful time to come together. Before then, a few things happening. First, tonight everyone is welcome to join us at Crane Brewery in Raytown, Missouri. Michael Crane, one of our CBT members, is a co-owner at Crane Brewery, and we will be fulfilling the all-important tradition on Purim of getting a little bit intoxicated. So 21 plus, join us tonight, 7 until 9. There will be a very brief Megillah reading at 8 and costume contest, so it will be wonderful. And he did brew Hamantaschen beer. Hamantaschen are fruit-filled cookies that we have for dessert today for Oneg, and he has never brewed Hamantaschen beer before, so we're very excited to try it. Or it could be the start of something beautiful. All right. Also, tomorrow, Leslie will be leading the service of spiritual renewal for Passover, because Passover is around the corner. So join her at Village Shalom at 3 o'clock for a wonderful time together. And speaking of singing, if you are interested in singing in the volunteer choir or playing in the volunteer band for Israel Shabbat on May 6th, let Leslie know, because rehearsals start this week for choir. Very exciting. And 2 last quick announcements. First of all, we are very excited about our Jewish Living class for Jews. So if you're interested in learning more about all of the different aspects of what it means to be Jewish and just diving in a little bit deeper, we're very excited. Please reach out to Rabbi Kleinman, and the registration is on the website. Last but not least, I just mentioned Passover. The first night of Passover is Friday, April 15. So that night, there will not be a service. Rather, we will have our congregational Seder. So it is multi-access, in person and online. Check out the e-news and the website for more information. With that, Shabbat Shalom. And everyone, please join us in the Ulam for To-Go Neg after this, a little sweetness to end the service.
Thank you, Aviva.
April 15th is less than a month away for those of you paying attention to the math.
Until then, we will join together on page 626. If you're able, please stand and join us in En Keloheinu. En Keloheinu, En Kadoneinu, En Kemalkeinu, En Kemoshienu, En Keloheinu, En Kadoneinu, En Kemalkeinu, En Kemoshienu, Mi Eloheinu, Mi Chadoneinu, Mi Kemalkeinu, Mi Kemoshienu, En Keloheinu, En Kadoneinu, En Kemalkeinu, En Kemoshienu, En Keloheinu, En Kadoneinu, En Kemalkeinu, En Kemoshienu. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adoneinu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. En Keloheinu, En Kadoneinu, En Kemalkeinu, En Kemoshienu, En Keloheinu, En Kadoneinu, En Kemalkeinu, En Kemoshienu. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Take care of each other out there.